I'm Liyana Hassanel and you're watching Nightline. News making the headlines. Former 1MDB lawyer Jasmine Loo arrested. And 12 Malaysian hikers missing in flood-hit Indian state. The Malaysian High Commission in New Delhi is in touch with the Indian authorities for information on 12 Malaysian tourists who are stranded in the flood-hit region of Himachal Pradesh. The group had lost all contact with their family members since Sunday following heavy rains in the region, which have caused widespread floods and landslides. Malaysia's Deputy High Commissioner in New Delhi, Amizal Fadzli Rajali, said the families of the 12 Malaysians have sought the diplomatic mission's help in locating them. However, mobile communication networks have been disrupted in some areas, with thousands of vehicles waiting for rescue in various locations in Himachal due to roads being damaged. State officials also said they were still trying to reach stranded local and foreign tourists. It was believed that communication with the Malaysian group was lost while they were hiking at the Manali Mountains. The group's final known location was the Hamta Pass in Himachal Pradesh. The region has been hit by heavy rains for the past 3 days, damaging roads and causing landslides and water surge in the villages in Manali. Earlier in a statement, Wisma Putra said it would continue to monitor the situation in Himachal Pradesh and advised Malaysians in need of help to contact the High Commission directly for any consular assistance. Former One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB lawyer Jasmine Loo ICE1, who was wanted under an Interpol Red Notice, was arrested by police on Friday. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, who confirmed the matter on Wednesday, said Loo, through her lawyer, was said to be willing to cooperate and assist police investigation into the 1MDB scandal.
Saudari Jasmine Loo ICE1, seorang individu yang dipercayai mempunyai maklumat berkaitan dengan kes 1MDB, telah pun ditahan oleh polis pada hari Jumaat lepas, dan pada 8 Julai hari Sabtu telah dikenakan reman. Ini berlaku di IPD Dangwangi. Perintah reman itu adalah ke atas siasatan di bawah Seksyen 409 Kanun Keseksaan.
Datuk Sri Saifuddin said he could not divulge further information as the case was still under investigation. It was reported that Loo was among the proxies working with fugitive financier Low Taek Jo, better known as Jolo, to misappropriate millions of ringgit from 1MDB. She was listed as a wanted person since 2018 and had been charged in absentia together with Low, alongside several others linked to the scandal, namely Terence Geh Cho Heng, Casey Tang Keng Chi, and Eric Tan Kim Lung, over money laundering cases involving the Sovereign State Fund. All four left Malaysia just before the 14th general election on May 9, 2018. Authorities later sought Interpol's assistance to track them down. In another development, the deportation process for travellers issued with not to land NTL notices will now once again be handled by airline companies and no longer by third parties. He added the decision was made at the cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim on Wednesday. According to the Home Minister, returning the responsibility of handling the NTL process back to airlines was also in line with the Convention on International Aviation, set by the International Civil Aviation Organisation, ICAO, and Immigration Act.
Syarikat penerbangan adalah bertanggungjawab dalam menguruskan penghantaran pulang. Kalau sebelum dihantar pulang tu perlu beri makan tu pun tanggungjawab syarikat penerbangan. Itu disebut makan minum, kos penjagaan, termasuk tiket penerbangan. Kat mana ni? ICAO Chapter 5, Artikel 5.9. Di bawah tajuk Inadmissible Person and Deportees.
He also said that the Cabinet's decision will allow for the travellers slapped with NTL notices to be managed better. Datuk Sri Saifuddin added that the matter would be further discussed with the Foreign Ministry and Transport Ministry. Between January and June this year, 14,977 travellers were issued NTL notices. Transport Minister Anthony Loke recently said a committee of airline operators and associates at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA, had appointed private company Monocycle Sendirian Berhad to handle NTL passengers at the airport since February 2015. The issue came under the spotlight after the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, revealed that an agent linked to the company had purportedly solicited a fee to help a Chinese national after she was allegedly denied entry into Malaysia at the KLIA last month. The Cabinet has decided that pension payments from July to December 2023 will be based on the original pension amount. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said this was following the decision of the Federal Court on June 27th that Sections 3 and 7 of the Pensions Adjustment Amendment Act 2013 were invalid. Therefore, the law before the amendment is applicable by itself for pension adjustment. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also the Finance Minister, said the matter was brought up during the Cabinet meeting on Wednesday to find a solution to ensure the welfare of retirees continues to be taken care of. He added that the difference between the current pension amount and the original pension amount will now be paid in the form of a special assistance called Special Appreciation for Pensioners. He also said that for civil servants who retired before 2013, pension payments would revert to the amount as in December 2012, while those who retired starting in 2013, the pension will be based on the original amount upon retirement. Datuk Seri Anwar said this is to ensure that the amount they receive remains the same as their current pension amount as of June 2023. In line with this, a review of public service salaries will also be conducted with the participation of civil service retirees. The Johor High Court on Wednesday ruled that the MACC can rely on the Criminal Procedure Code, CPC, to remand suspects for further investigation under the MACC Act. Judge Dato' Abu Bakar Qatar, in his judgment, said that the Commission, when making arrests of suspects, has the option to apply for remand under Section 117 of the CPC or to grant bail. Dato' Abu Bakar said that the provisions of Section 49 of the MACC Act cannot be read rigidly to the extent that it affects or hinders the graftbusters investigation process. He made the decision following the MACC's judicial review application regarding the action of the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court, which had refused a remand application against 2 individuals detained by the agency on May 15th, based on a Timor High Court ruling in May. Meanwhile, MACC Director for Legal and Prosecution Division, Datuk Wan Shaharuddin Wan Ladin, said it was clear that MACC was not bound solely by Section 49 of the MACC Act in their remand applications.
Pihak SPM telah disekat dan hindered by keputusan di Mahkamah Tinggi Temerloh, di mana ramai magistrate mengatakan bahawa mereka terikat dengan keputusan Mahkamah Tinggi Temerloh.
On May 11th, Timor Judicial Commissioner Roslan Matnor in his judgment said that the MACC must rely on its own act and not use the CPC to remand a suspect in its investigation. Meanwhile, a former special officer to a former minister has been remanded for 3 days by the Putrajaya Magistrates Court on suspicion of soliciting a bribe of almost 25,000 ringgit. The remand order was issued by Magistrate Irza Zulaika Rohanuddin following a remand application by the MACC on Wednesday. According to a source, the man in his 40s was detained at about 5 p.m. on Tuesday at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya after he was summoned to record his statement. Initial investigations revealed that the suspect, who served with the former minister in 2019, was alleged to have solicited the bribe from a local man who wanted his child's citizenship application to be approved. The suspect was detained as a follow-up to Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's statement recently that some National Registration Department officers were being investigated for suspected corruption. MACC Intelligence Division Director Datuk Azmi Kamaruzaman confirmed the arrest, adding that the probe is being conducted under the MACC Act. The government has introduced a subsidy initiative worth 300 ringgit for the purchase of flight tickets for public university students for domestic routes between the Peninsula, Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan that will begin on August 15th. Transport Minister Anthony Loo said the subsidy was only valid for the purchase of one-way and return economy class flight tickets between the student's place of origin and place of study. In a statement, Loo said the initiative, which the Cabinet agreed to on Wednesday, would benefit over 56,000 public university students nationwide, with the overall cost estimated to be 16.8 million ringgit. He added this would be implemented through a credit shell where participating airlines will issue a digital voucher worth 300 ringgit to each eligible student to redeem for purchasing flight tickets for domestic routes. He also said if the ticket purchased costs less than 300 ringgit, the balance of the digital voucher could be used for the next ticket purchase. In addition, the vouchers can only be used to purchase Malaysia Airlines, Air Asia, Batik Air, Firefly and My Airline flight tickets. The deadline to redeem the vouchers for the purchase of flight tickets is October 31st. Malaysia is aiming to be the first country in the world to develop a high-speed rail project without involving any government funding. According to HSR Corp Sdn Berhad Chairman, Datuk Sri Fauzi Abdul Rahman, this would be possible through the revived Kuala Lumpur Singapore high-speed rail project, which may entirely be funded using private investments.
Projek ini berjalan terus dan kita akan tengok respon daripada swasta, dan sebab kita katakan ini hendaklah dibiayai sepenuhnya oleh pihak swasta, sama ada dia nak buat kumpulan antara syarikat Malaysia dengan syarikat luar negara ataupun syarikat luar negara sendirian. So kita akan tengok keadaannya.
He added that HSR Corp has started requesting concept proposals from local as well as international firms and consortia for the development and operation of the KL-Singapore HSR project via a public-private partnership model. This included the proposed routes, stations and funding mechanisms for the project, but they must be based on the terms and conditions that have been set. Presently, several local companies have shown interest to bid for the project, which was initially greenlit in 2016 before it was terminated on January 1st, 2021. Coming up after this breather, Thailand's PETA stumbles in PM bid as legal cases mount. Foreign news. Thai Prime Ministerial hopeful Pita Limjaroenrat was dealt a major setback on Wednesday when two separate complaints against him gained momentum, threatening to derail his leadership bid on the eve of a crucial vote on the premiership. The Constitutional Court said it had accepted a complaint filed by a lawyer against Pita and his election-winning Move Forward party that said its plan to reform a law prohibiting royal insults amounted to an attempt to overthrow the democratic regime of government with the king as a head of state. It came just hours after the Election Commission recommended that the same court disqualify Peter as a lawmaker, saying it found merit in a complaint alleging he was unqualified to run in the May 14th general election due to his ownership of shares in a media company in violation of electoral rules. However, there was no immediate indication either development would prevent 42-year-old Peter from contesting Thursday's vote, where he faces a challenge to win the required backing of more than half of the legislature. China on Tuesday has reacted angrily to a NATO communique portraying China as a major challenge to the group's interests and security. In a strongly worded communique issued halfway through their two-day summit in Vilnius, NATO leaders said the People's Republic of China challenged the alliance's interests, security and values with its stated ambitions and coercive policies. The declaration also said China and Russia were involved in a deepening strategic partnership and mutually reinforcing attempts to undercut the rules-based international order. Meanwhile, the Chinese mission to European Union condemned the comments, accusing NATO of distorting China's position and deliberately trying to discredit the country. It added that Beijing opposed NATO's eastward movement into the Asia-Pacific region and warned that any act that jeopardizes China's legitimate rights and interests will be met with a resolute response. Also in China, more than 40,000 people in Sichuan province have been evacuated on Wednesday due to floods, as cloudbursts drop huge amounts of precipitation over several parts of the country. It was reported that 300.7 millimeters of rain had fallen over Yan City in Sichuan province over about 14 hours, causing flash floods and mudslides that destroyed homes. Meanwhile, Jiangsu, the capital of Henan province, has issued a red alert, the highest in a 4-tier warning system for the record rainfall. Bursts of unusually heavy rain have also saturated different areas over the past few weeks, causing flooding and mudslides that have damaged infrastructure and killed several people. China's rain and floods come as several other parts of the world have been seeing similar disastrous downpours, raising new fears about the pace of climate change. North Korea on Wednesday fired a suspected intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, of its east coast, as leaders of South Korea and Japan were set to meet on the sidelines of a NATO summit to discuss threats, including the nuclear-armed North. According to Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno, the suspected ICBM flew for 74 minutes at an altitude of 6,000 kilometers and range of 1,000 kilometers. The longest ever flight time for a North Korean missile. The launch came after heated complaints from North Korea in recent days, accusing American spy planes of violating airspace in its economic zones, condemning a recent visit to South Korea by an American nuclear-powered cruise missile submarine, and promising to take steps in reaction. However, Washington has dismissed the accusations, saying its military patrols are in line with international law. Security concerns have ramped up on the peninsula this year after Pyongyang tested new weapons and launching a record number of missiles in 2022, including ones capable of reaching U.S. territory.
Madani, tekad perpaduan penuhi harapan. Menggagaskan usaha memartabat semula Malaysia di persada dunia dalam mendepani cabaran mendatang. Saksikan soal rakyat khas Kuartet Merdeka bersama 4 Menteri Kabinet. Sabtu 15 Julai, jam 5.32 petang, hanya di TV3.
On to sports tennis, the 2023 Wimbledon Championships. Novak Djokovic tied Roger Federer's record of 46-man Grand Slam semi-finals by getting to the round with a victory over Andrei Rublev. Losing the first set 4-6, the world number 2 clawed his way into the game to take the next 3 sets 6-1, 6-4, 6-3 and a ticket into the next round. The 36-year-old Serbian will next face Jannik Sinner in his 12th Wimbledon semi-final, after the Italian also beat a Russian opponent, Roman Safilin, earlier. With his win, Djokovic moved closer to a 5th consecutive championship at the All-England club and 8th overall, which would pull him even with Federer on both counts. Earlier, Sinner reached his first Grand Slam semi-final after he overcame a mid-match dip to end Safilin's run. In a heavy-hitting 2-hour and 14-minute clash, the Italian recovered from squandering a break advantage in the second set against the world number 92, increasing his level in the third and fourth sets to earn a 6-4, 3-6, 6-2, 6-2 victory. Sinner, who is only 21, became the third Italian man to reach the last 4 at Wimbledon, joining Nicola Pietrangeli and 2021 finalist Matteo Berrettini. In the women's event, unseeded Ukrainian Elina Svitolina advanced to her second semi-final appearance following a hard-fought victory over top seed Iga Świątek of Poland in 3 sets. Svitolina pulled off one of the biggest wins of her career after defeating the top seed 7-5, 6-7, 6-2 with a display of power hitting that Świątek could not match. The triumph was Svitolina's 7th career win against a world number 1. She will face Czech Markéta Vondrousova next in the last 4. Meanwhile, Vondrousova reached her first ever semi-final after the 2019 French Open runner-up defeated 4th seed Jessica Pegula of the United States 6-4, 2-6, 6-4. The unseeded 24-year-old lost the second in a topsy-turvy encounter against the 4th seed, but fought back harder to claim the last set. The victory for the Czech is her 4th over a seeded player at this year's tournament. No police report lodged on alleged biting incident in school. The details after this short break. Welcome back. Police have not received any report from the parents of the students who were allegedly bitten on the face by a male school teacher in Kelantan. State Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Zaki Harun said he has directed all district police chiefs to check on the matter, which was highlighted in video clips that have gone viral since Sunday.
Kita dapat tu daripada viral yang ada itu dan kita cek dengan semua daerah tak ada laporan mengenai gigit dia tu. Jadi kita masih lagi cuba dapatkan maklumat yang lebih lanjut lah. Mungkin daripada ibu bapa yang memviralkan perkara itu, seeloknya berhubung dengan pihak polis berhampiran untuk menjelaskan apa sebenarnya berlaku. Kerana kalau tindakan civil sekalipun, tentunya report polis perlu dibuat.
On Monday, Deputy Education Minister Lim Hui Ying said the ministry was investigating the incident in which students were left traumatized after allegedly being bitten by a male teacher at a school in Kelantan. Lim was commenting on a social media post uploaded by a mother who claimed that her son felt afraid to go to school because he was often bitten by a male teacher. The mother also claimed that her son was not the only victim and several other students were affected as well. In Malacca, the remand order against a 14-year-old teenage boy who allegedly strangled his 9-year-old brother to death at their home in Kampung Bukit Piatu on July 5th has been extended for another 7 days until July 19th. The remand extension was granted by Magistrate Sharda Shienha Muhammad Sulaiman at the Ayakuroh Magistrates Court to allow police to conduct further investigation into the case. The teenager, who is a student from an Arabic medium school in Alor Gajah, was previously remanded for a week before the remand period ended on Wednesday. It was reported previously that the suspect was believed to have experienced a change in attitude after becoming a victim of bullying at the boarding school where he was studying. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. In Perak, a kindergarten teacher was charged at the Ipoh Magistrates Court on Wednesday with neglecting a 4-year-old boy who died due to drowning in a pool last April. 58-year-old S. Esther Christina claimed trial after the charge was read out before Magistrate Jessica Dimas, who fixed August 23rd for mention. The accused was alleged to have left the victim, V. Tains Nair, who was under her care, unattended for an unreasonable period at the swimming pool of the Central Club, Bandar Baru Sri Klebang, on the morning of April 17th. The victim, who was admitted to the Raja Permaisri Bainun Hospital, died 6 days later. The offence under the Child Act provides for a maximum fine of 20,000 ringgit or up to 5 years in jail or both upon conviction. The court allowed her bail of 2,500 ringgit with one surety. Nightline draws to a close this time around. As we wrap up, let's take a look as gamers from around the world take part in Saudi Arabia's esports festival entitled Gamers 8, the Land of Heroes. The competition, organized by Saudi's Esports Federation, has a combined 45 million USD prize pool distributed among 15 tournaments, including the FIFA E-Club World Cup. I'm Liyana Hassanel. Thank you for tuning in and take care, Malaysia.